I'll be creating one simple Zap for you, just to give you a hands-on. And then I'll show you some pre-built Zapier templates that I provide. There are like more than 1,500 templates that Zapier provides you to connect different apps with other different apps. And few of the cons of Zapier, why should you not use it? So let's get started with what is Zapier. So there's a situation where you have to connect some web application with another web application. For example, you have to connect your WordPress with Google Drive. You have to connect your WordPress with Facebook or some other combination. The traditional way to do it was using the APIs. And you had to hire a coder that knows the API, and he used to code it all, spends a lot much of hours and money, and it builds the whole solution. Here what the Zapier comes in. It creates an intermediary. It have all the APIs built in with it, and you just have to connect one application to another application with the medium of Zapier, and that's it. You just need technical skills. You don't need any coding skills or programming skills like that. So what it provides integration. It integrate any app with any app. I mean, you can integrate whatever app it has in its system with another app. Then it provides automation. By automation, I mean you don't need to pass the data from one app to another app manually. It automates that itself. It has a regular cron job. It's a regular job, like it runs every 5 minutes or 15 minutes. It automatically syncs data between two applications. Then you don't need to do any code, not even HTML code. So you just need technical skills to use the input fields and drop downs and all those things. This last line is a Zapier term. They say Zapier helps you automate anything in the apps you most use, so you can get back to human side of your business. So you don't need to spend hours and finding out the APIs and the developers. You can just go in, have a free account on Zapier, and let's do the fun. Now, how I started with Zapier in 2015, we were facing a WordPress site. We were having a client, and she was using like 120 plugins in her site, and we were appointed at that point of time to include few of the features and do the site speed improvements. There was one feature in which she asked us for synchronizing the data of WooCommerce, like WooCommerce orders, into Google Sheets. I looked for some solution. One solution was to try out Google Drive API, Google Sheets API, and do the API coding and do this stuff. And I was estimating that for 20 hours. That it would take 20 hours to do the job. Then I figured out something else. I was doing some Google, and I found Zapier. I gave it a try with a free account, and I was able to do the synchronization within like 1 hour or even less.
Wow.
So why it's time and cost saver? As I told you, that it saves the coding time. It saves the time for you to look for the API, look for the developer. You can just go in and you can try it. Here's one latest example we did. This is our latest project really. So there was a client who asked us he was having a member and a vendor site, and he asked us for a process where his member fills up a form, an online contract gets generated, the contract gets signed, and the member gets a login. Completed contracts get saved in a Google Drive, and it gets shared to the member. So there's much of steps. And if you put human to this work, it would take like 3 hours manually to do it. And if you think of coding it, it would be like we have to use all these APIs for these applications. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see 4 applications. I can estimate like on average 20 hours for each API. That would be 80 hours. And this whole project, this whole stuff had to take 80 hours if I do with API. But if I do with Zapier, I just did it within 10 hours with some of the coding, because it has to link with the WordPress site, and I have to a little bit of customize things. So we use these applications, Ninja Forms. I'm not sure how many of you know about it. It's a super flexible, super customizable form of WordPress, Ninja Forms and Gravity Forms. Then we have DocuSign. It's an e-signature application. Then we have WordPress API. I'm not sure how many people know that WordPress has its own API. Your WordPress website, even if you download that 20 MBs of web application of WordPress or not, you get an API built in. And then we have Google Drive to save the files, and the last one is email. That's the simple code of email.
Does it work with Gravity Forms too?
Yeah, yeah. It guarantees that we have like more than 1,500 connections to the applications. It includes Gravity Forms. It includes Ninja Forms. So Zapier includes a lot much that we can think of. Yeah, I can show you the templates, and that's pretty much fun. All right. So there are few basic terms in Zapier before starting over it. There are two basic things: trigger and action. Trigger is something that triggers, that calls it, and action is something that is done. So when this trigger happens, do this action. That's simple. That's simple term. And the combination of triggers and action is called a zap. So in the next session, I'll be creating a zap with a trigger and with an action. So this is one of the sample app that I'll be creating with my bare hands on Zapier within like 5 or 10 minutes. You can see how, if you look at it, connecting WP post with a Facebook page post, it looks a lot more complex. Okay? Because you have to use Facebook page API and you have to use WordPress API. So this looks pretty complex, but I can do this connection within 5 or 10 minutes with using Zapier.
Would you say this is possible with the free account or with the paid one?
With the free account. There are actually few limitations that, like, you can have just 100 zaps in the free account, and few other restrictions. But the free account does most of the things.
I think one of the big things is that a zap only occurs every 15 minutes in the free account. So you would see a bit of a delay if you need something to happen instantaneously. You might need to upgrade, but it's a bit of a delay. But that's really the only downside.
All right. So this is how the Zapier dashboard looks like, and I'm currently logged in from my Google account, and I click on make a zap. It's just like installing a software. You just press next, 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 and then finish. So right now, there are two things. This is configuring the trigger, and the other one, do this. It's an action. So this is trigger and this is action. So we are configuring the trigger. I set WordPress post to Facebook page. So I'll write down WordPress over here. I can see WordPress. And it says what is the trigger event. Like in WordPress, we have several things. We have several events. So it's asking me what event you want to hook your trigger into. I say, if I create new post, we have several trigger events. This is just an example of how to make a zap. So it gives you all options that you can select in, and you can try it. I'll select new post, that it should trigger whenever there's a new post. And I'll click on continue. It asks me for signing in to my WordPress website. It's not the WordPress.com. It's asking about your own personal WordPress site. If I click it, it would ask for the username and password. It's asking for the base URL of my site. I'll put it. And I need to connect it with my username and
So it doesn't matter who your hosting service is?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It just shouldn't be on your local system. It should be on the server that's
Okay.
accessible to Zapier.
Like if I hire a hosting service, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
You can connect different WordPress sites
Yeah,
to,
exactly.
okay.
Once you connect one site, it will ask you, you see this drop down?
Oh, okay.
When I click over it, it shows me that I have connected one WordPress, and if I need to connect another account, I can do it.
Okay.
So I just connected my WordPress site. Then it asks me some optional things like what like what post status it should be and what should be the post type. You can these are optional fields, so you can just skip it.
But if you post, you want to make sure it's published, right?
Yeah.
That would be a status thing. You
Yes.
want to make sure it's a published post, not a draft or schedule or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it shows all the post statuses. We can select publish over here just to make sure that whenever you publish a post, only then it synchronizes to Facebook page. Only then it posts to Facebook page. For the post type, we actually have different kind of post types in WordPress. WooCommerce uses its own post type, which is product, and there are several other post types. These are actually objects in WordPress. I select post, that if a post gets published on my WordPress site, this should start the trigger of this app.
What about posts from the past?
Post from the past, it doesn't get
Only new posts or posts I did last year?
no, only new posts. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Triggering,
how
an action has to occur.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, because it's a combination of trigger and action.
All
There
right.
is something that triggers it.
all right.
If there
And
are
it will do any new post that you do on your WordPress, it will do this without you doing anything else,
yeah, that's
right?
Correct.
Okay.
But you have to publish it.
You gotta publish the
It's gotta be
post,
published, yeah.
and then it will do all
That's
this
the
by
trick.
itself.
That's right.
All right, all right.
We're just configuring how it should trigger.
Mm-hmm.
If, for example, if I update a post with the status draft, it won't trigger. It would only trigger if I publish it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want any post that you save without, maybe it's published or draft or whatever, it should trigger, then I would keep it blank.
Yeah, but then every time you create a post and you
Yeah.
just save it, boop.
It would go on your Facebook page without even knowing it. Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
So we're just finished configuring the trigger, and it asks you for three things. Either we can skip test, which I won't recommend. You have to see what it pulls up from your website. I'll click on test and review. It shows me 3 recent posts I created, and on the new post A, I think this one is the latest one. Yeah, I did that. I was doing that last night. Okay. Yeah, we can use it. I can also click on get more samples. Okay, if you wanna see what other variations of your post look like. But let's just select one post just for testing. I'll click on done editing. And
Those are past hosts. Those are past posts.
yeah, it's just
It's
for testing.
Okay,
Yeah. Before it goes live, you should test it.
All right,
And
fine.
you should test
All
it
right.
manually. Yeah. And when you test it, you can see how it would function properly. So we're done with the trigger, and now it's time for action. I write down Facebook. So you can see I have several Facebook applications that I can connect. I select Facebook pages. Then it says what kind of action event I want to. I select that you should create you should create page post. We have several other options, but let's try this one. I'll hit continue, and it will ask me for Facebook pages. Few years back, you have to get a dev API from the Facebook, and you have to put it on something that you need to connect with. But right now we use auth, and it does automatically. You just have to log in and approve it. So I'm already logged in. I select one of my page. I have all these pages, but let's use this one. Okay, and I would select on the Facebook like what Zapier can do with my login. It can manage the pages. I say yes. It can publish the pages. I say yes. But it will only do these things on the page I selected in the previous step. I'll click on done, and it's connected. And just like that, you can connect more accounts of Facebook, or you can select the previous one.
And you can't connect more than one Facebook. You can't. I can't have one action do 2 Facebook posts.
You can do that.
One. Okay. So if we added another account, I could do 2 Facebook pages.
Yes, there's a plus icon over here,
Got it. Yep,
and
yep.
you can create as much of actions that you want.
Right.
That should be just one trigger, and you can select multiple actions.
Got it.
It's just like switching a light on.
Sure.
You trigger the switch, the action is light turns on. You can put 2 lights or 3 lights.
Are you saying if I hit that plus sign, I could also trigger maybe Twitter?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can connect as many apps as you want,
So all the
but only on the action.
the post will go through Facebook to Twitter on any actions that you select,
That's
any
right.
platforms that
Yeah.
you select.
Cool.
Okay, good.
Who creates the Zap that goes between Zapier and, let's say, Facebook? Is it Facebook who actually writes that?
No, Zapier has some development program. What it does, it's just a marketplace. I, as a coder, can write down an API connection from Zapier with their some formats. I can write down an API for any other application. I can host it, and they can pay me some royalty for that. And they have these individual developers that are working on making this Zap and X kind of
So that
application.
seems to say that if we've got like 10 Zaps that are set up for Facebook, but not the one we want, we can build that one we want and effectively either use it just privately or make it available.
No, you can't, as a user, we can't host an API connection with Zapier. I cannot, as a developer, I cannot just host, I just cannot code one API and I can ask Zapier to use it on their system. They have the whole application process for that. And each developer has to go through all the forms, all the formats, all the functions that Zapier is asking to follow.
It's up to
Visual
Zapier to
Builder?
make that decision.
Visual Builder like you're asking if we can connect Visual Builder?
No. Zapier supposedly has a visual builder.
Oh yes, I got your point. So that's a very good point. Zapier is a visual builder of your APIs. It's just like you have text mode of WordPress editor. You write down all the codes, all the HTML, it prints out. Or you can use the visual or Gutenberg, and you can connect the blogs with the visual criteria. Is that what you're trying to say? Perfect. All right, we can continue. And all right, so after connecting the second application of Facebook, the action, it asked me for some of the specific things like what page this post should go on. I have selected just one page to authorize Zapier, so it's showing me just one. Then it asks for what would be the post content of the Facebook page. I can write down the text from myself. That's a fixed static text, or I can configure it with the with the dynamic data. So this all data you see over here, it's coming from the post, from the trigger.
So that's gonna show up on your Facebook page, I have added a new post?
Yeah.
Okay,
This is a static text you can write down. It will go on every Facebook page post. But what you select from here, it's a dynamic data. You can select link, you can select post title.
And the cool thing is it shows you the examples of what is in that post title. So he named his post second post. So
Yep.
it would say, I've added a new post, second post, and here's the link. You know, you just keep adding it.
Yes, that's right. So that's why we did a test with some previous posts. And this is a link URL. I can use the link of the post I just created. And that's it. I hit continue. And the connection is successful. Just is asking for if you want to do test right now. I can select skip test, but I would prefer doing a test and review. Okay, it says a test page post was sent to Facebook pages just now, and it gives this random ID. You can ignore it. It's a Facebook ID that go behind the scene. When we open the page, I need to refresh one.
cool.
Yeah,
There it
it's
is.
from 2013. Okay, there it goes. And it says published by Zapier.
Is that public? Like,
Yeah, it's public.
everybody can see that?
No, they can't see that it was posted by Zapier.
No?
They don't see that.
Okay. Just because he's the admin of the
Right.
page. can see.
Yes. But I think yes. Let me try it. No.
You can't see who it was published by.
Uh-huh.
That's the problem, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can see. It's just showing for me. And that's it. The test was successful. I can say I'm done editing. And it asks for if you want to turn on. I say turn on. So this Zapier is turned on, and it will run every 15 minutes to pull down my new post from WordPress and would post that to the Facebook page.
So it's checking for new posts every 15 minutes.
Yes, that's right.
Mhm.
I
It's
have
going
a
to
free
your site.
account, so it does 15 minutes. But if you have paid account, it reduces that to 5 minutes.
Can you change that? Because sometimes you don't want anything hitting your site every 15 minutes looking for a post. Like if you know you're only going to post,
No, you
you
can't.
can't change that?
Actually, it uses WordPress API. It's a JSON API, so you don't need to, control anything from WordPress. It's
Right.
just using text format
Got it.
from WordPress. That doesn't affect any performance issues. It's just naming the Zap, and that's it. You don't need to hit any submit or save button. It automatically does that. And that's it. We developed, you can say, application API from WordPress to Facebook. Just in, I'm not sure if that was 15 minutes or 10 minutes. And you can see it on my dashboard. It shows me under my Zaps. So this is how it works. And if I try to add a new post, I would add a new post, and I know it would take 15 minutes to post on Facebook. Meanwhile, we can go on next steps. Okay, so it's published on my WordPress site. Let's wait for it until it reaches Zapier and the Facebook page. Alright, next step is we have Zapier templates. Like what I did in the previous step, I connected two applications manually. But we have some built-in WordPress Zapier templates that we can use within just one click. And it has combination of every app. So if you go on apps section over here in Zapier, it will show you all these applications that it has, and these are just top 100. We can select other applications from this categories, like you have accounting, we have ads, we have AWS, we have several other categories of applications that we can use. But you can see there are some applications that are premium, so you have to buy a subscription from them, but most of them are free. So let's say if I ask for a template for, let's think of if I'll configure it to check the weather, and if it's gonna be rain tomorrow, it should send me a text message. So what I'll do, I'll try to write down weather. So it has these two applications related with weather. I'll select weather by Zapier. So this is the one application that we selected. Now if you scroll down a bit, it will show you all the integrations it has. It has total of 53 connections, 53 integrations. We can select a second app over here. I say text. These are the text services that it's connected with. I say simple texting.
Do you have to sign up for simple texting? Or
Yeah.
can you just choose it all?
Yeah, any application that you have to use, you need their account.
Yeah.
Text. So it will show you these templates in the bottom. You can trigger something like, will it rain today? And you can select the action, send SMS message or add a contact. Let's use send SMS message. And you just need to click on connect. It will build the whole Zap for you with action and triggers. You just have to connect your accounts.
And so what will that do? That will, like, every time there's a weather forecast, it's gonna go to your Facebook?
It will check every day in the morning, and if it's gonna rain, it checks the weather API. If it's gonna rain, it will send you a text message that bring an umbrella or something.
So could you have a contact list or send it out to a contact list?
No, you have to configure the number and your account over here in simple text.
All right.
Yeah. So you have to configure this little details in the applications itself. This is one of the template that's already on Zapier. So we have around 1500 plus templates that's available with Zapier. You just need to select what kind of connections and what kind of applications you want, and that's it. And what I can show you. Okay, you can, if you go on the home page and dashboard, you can see there are some popular zaps that you can try, and you can just give it a try, look around what else you can do, and just give it a try once, and you'll see why it's so useful. So it has these 2,247 popular zaps that you can create from.
It's gonna take some time to go through all those.
Yeah. No, whatever out of these find more suitable to you, more exciting to you, you can try that. Otherwise, you have this connect this zap thing, like you can put anything over there, like Google Drive. What other application we can put? Let's say.
Does it have Acuity? It's a calendar application. It's called Acuity.
What's the name? What's the spelling?
ACU.
IT.
Yeah, ITI.
Acuity.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that right there.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you can see these several templates. You can connect it with ActiveCampaign. You can connect it with Google Contacts. You can connect it with Sheets. You can
So
connect with Mailchimp.
When somebody uses Acuity for mine, if they schedule an appointment, it actually gets added to my Google Calendar. So it's in my Acuity, but it also gets added to my Google Calendar. I get, it kicks off a Zoom meeting. So I've got multiple things that happen when somebody does one thing and schedules
One appointment.
one appointment. It kicks off a Zoom meeting, so at the same time, they get another kickoff of an email. Excellent, you set up a meeting, here's our Zoom meeting with the link. It creates a calendar on my Google and blocks that time out, and then it sets up a couple of reminder emails. So all of that in one zap.
Oh, okay. So you set up all that
Mhm.
there. Nice. Okay.
So when someone says they didn't know. One trigger.
Oh, okay,
They-
so it's
somebody
the one
created
thing
a
does this,
calendar.
does this, does this.
Yes.
It's
yes.
one-to-many connections.
Many.
What would you say is the difference between this and IFTTT?
Truly speaking, I haven't used IFTT at all. I use Zapier, and I can accomplish anything that I wanted with the APIs with that. So I don't go with the horizontals, I go with the vertical.
I always look at IFTT as just your basic, if this, then do this, then do that. This is like got formatting, parsing, all kinds of stuff that goes on with this thing. So you've got a file that comes in, but you only want to parse out the domain name. It'll pull the domain name. The next step, you can use the domain name for something else. So I think it's just a little bit more in depth, maybe?
So is it possible to, if I've got a trigger, could that action be to send that to a contact list?
Mm-hmm.
More than just me?
Yeah.
Like everybody on my MailChimp account as an example?
Okay. Let's try that out. So what kind of trigger you want?
Well, I'm not specific right now. I just want to know in other words, I don't want to find out the information myself. I want 50 other people to find out.
Yeah, you can do that.
If-
You can do that. So you just have one trigger, and in the actions, you create multiple actions with the same application, and you put down different numbers for
Okay.
all other contacts.
All right,
you have.
thank you. That helps.
But if you have them on a MailChimp list, I'd assume you can just give it to that list.
Yeah, there's
Right.
some things you kind of have to question, do I really need a Zap for this? But if you want things to happen in a concurrent fashion, if this happens, I need this, and this to happen. A Zap is awesome.
Thank you.
It's just linear, but if you're looking for something like loops, if you're familiar with the programming terms, if you are talking about loops are not possible in Zapier. The linear way, the conditional statements are possible, but not the loops or not while, for, each, nothing like that. Alright, so that was Zapier templates. Then there are a few cases that I just thought of. There are two cases that you should not use Zapier. First one is the confidential data and login, because you are connecting your application with Zapier. Okay. They have their terms and privacy statements that say will not use your data, but we know Amazon, Google, Facebook, everyone uses other data. And in some cases, you have large number of requests each day having a Zapier would cost you for each zap, and that might increase your cost. So if you have large number of requests each day, each hour, it's better to code your own API. These were the only two cases I just thought of that why we should not use Zapier. All right, and that's
With the
it.
login, with the
Oh, I don't-
login confidentiality, could you use OAuth or something like?
Yes, it's using auth. It's not asking you for the password. It's asking for the password on the WordPress because you don't have a built-in auth system for WordPress. You have to put down your password one way or other. There are some applications that doesn't have built-in auth, but applications like Facebook, Google, all the popular ones, they have their auth and it uses auth. So it doesn't saves your password.
Before you end your speech, I just had a few questions here as you were going down. You said you were able to sync the WooCommerce or sync your inventory with WooCommerce. Could you maybe explain or highlight some of that?
You can synchronize your
Was it
inventory.
through, let's say, for example, Google Sheets or QuickBooks?
Yes, you can do that, but it does not synchronize the old data. Whatever new product and new order you'll get on WooCommerce, only that would get synchronized to what other applications that you'll configure.
I wouldn't use it to synchronize products
Why not?
because it's a linear. It's because it's linear. If something is deleted off the sheets, but you don't have an action, if deleted, delete here, it's not syncing in that regard. I would use it, like you were saying, if somebody orders something, this is what I'm actually doing for one of my customers, he wants this full-blown reporting. Well, I can spend $2,000 and build in this custom plugin with custom reports and all that stuff. I'm like, let's just do a Zap. We'll throw in every single detail from that order into a Google Sheet, and you can make as many reports as you want from that. And so, but it's order. An order's made and it's filled out over here. Another order, if they go back and change the order, or it gets returned or something, it doesn't get updated over here. It's not synced. It's just action.
It
Well, Mike,
can
you did explain something in the beginning, that there was an inventory that you were able to.
Yes, it updates, but it actually needs a trigger. It cannot pull the data itself from your WordPress.
Oh, I see.
If something is updating, you have the trigger for that, and it can trigger with the update because there's something happening on your site. And there's one thing I'm implementing. So I'm starting a new restaurant over here in West Road, and what we are trying, we are also doing to go. People can order and they can get their stuff. So what I'm trying to do with Zapier is, if someone orders for food, it would add only that food and the items information on Google Sheets, and that Google Sheets would be in front of my chef, and he can look at it and he can just prepare the food, write down the order number, and send it to the manager, and he can then do the rest of things. So this is what I'm trying to do. If I code that would be, I can code it, but it would take much time.
Well, I guess let me just go ahead and give you the actual example. I have a client that has a shoe kind of website. They sell shoes, and they have over 500 products. Now they have somebody in-house that they update all the inventory of what got sold in their main store, and they want to go ahead and update it online. Now I'm sure you're aware, going to WooCommerce and going through each page individually and updating those products is going to be a long time. So my challenge is that if I can get somebody in the store to update, let's say, a Google Sheet, we only have 5 of these, 4 of these. I was hoping that maybe Zapier can go into that Google Sheet, grab that inventory data, and then sync it to the WooCommerce thing.
That's right.
And now you're saying that I need a trigger in order for that to happen.
No, even so I was explaining a connection from WordPress, triggering from WordPress to Google Sheets. But what you're saying is triggering from the Google Sheets itself.
Right. Yeah.
That is possible because behind the scenes, whenever you update even one single cell in Google Sheets, it gives a trigger.
That's trigger, yeah.
It submits something in the backend of Google with React, and that can be used with trigger, and it has that. Maybe I have a template with Zapier. So sorry, we say Google Sheets, and I say WooCommerce. So it says select a trigger. I say new spreadsheet row. You can create a new product from here. And if you say that in only inventory and other details that need to be updated, you can select new or updated spreadsheet row.
Can you scroll down on that so we can see a couple more on the options for the triggers? Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Google Sheets, you have all these triggers.
So we want the one that's new or updated spreadsheet row. So if
Yes.
something happens in a row,
Yeah.
then
Then it says either. I'm sorry. Select action. I think it's not.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
It's usually the other way around. When WooCommerce does something, then you can do it. But I don't know.
Yes, I think yes. Okay, in this case, we have to take a medium, a middleware system. So what it does, we use webhooks of Zapier, and we can say if there is new or updated spreadsheet, just do a custom request or post something somewhere. Okay, and using this middle system, you can connect the Zapier API with your WooCommerce, and you can update the inventory. So if you select this, and let's check another Zapier. So we have this one template, and the other template should be webhooks to WooCommerce. I say if something gets cached, it's not.
WooCommerce is finicky.
Yeah. I think it's not one. It cannot post to WooCommerce like that. So we have to code a little bit of stuff on the WooCommerce end to catch this webhook. Yeah, but at least it's doing half of your work. Connecting Google Sheets with API is a
That's hard.
pain.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had this project like 6 months ago and I still couldn't figure it out. But I'm glad you moved to Houston because now I can plug it. I do have one more question before you go to somebody else. Your thoughts on Gravity Forms versus Ninja Forms, and is there a way to delete a WordPress post after a certain amount of time through Zapier?
Okay, so you're saying these are two questions?
Yeah, two questions.
Okay, let's go one by one. The comparison with Ninja Forms and Gravity Forms.
Yeah.
Ninja Forms is pretty. That's the
Gravity
only thing.
Forms is pretty too. Come on.
You have
actually have a
pretty
good
bare
point.
boots in
Because
Gravity.
programming Gravity Forms is a style is a pain.
Not anymore. Not with Beaver
No.
Builder and
Not
Elementor.
Yeah, it's a bit complex, but it gives you more options than Ninja Forms. I personally like Gravity Forms.
I do too.
Yeah, I think Ninja Forms has limitations, and Gravity Forms is more complete.
Yeah. There's a Zap for Gravity Forms on here as well.
Yeah.
I use Gravity Forms for everything. I got 10 different Gravity Forms apps.
It has just one thing. Save new
See
Gravity
this
Forms.
one thing.
We have for Gravity Form, but not for WooCommerce.
Right? That's WooCommerce for you though.
All right.
And then the second
next-
one was can a post in WordPress be deleted after a while? through Zapier or any other way that you know of?
That
Okay.
depends on what kind of post. I mean, it depends on the date published of that post. Like, if it's past 5 days, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, let's say it's past 5 days.
Okay.
What would be the trigger? What would be the thing to, what would be the thing you think would remove the post?
Well, I was thinking that it's a little bit of an explanation, but anytime you update your website, you're asking Google to come back to your website for the spiders to crawl. So it's always good to post, let's say daily, or monthly, or whatever it may be. What I'm trying to do is, I'm hoping that I can get my WordPress site, you know, loaded up with, let's say, 30 posts for a whole month. And obviously it's gonna be thin content, so it could possibly penalize me. But I'm hoping that post will just shoot over to Facebook and Twitter, and then once it's done, I want it to be deleted off of WordPress. But I want it to hang around in my social media platform.
You might have in that same Zap where you posted it, another action to
Yeah.
wait 5 days, delete
So, Your
post.
thoughts?
Yeah, but you can't schedule the deleting. You cannot schedule the
Right.
action. Yeah.
Shoot, man.
You can't add it, you can add a 5-day delay. Is there no way to go back in that same one you just did? Can you go back to that one and just see if there's a add-on action to, you can delay, you add a delay, and then, I don't know, I've never looked if you can, no, after you post, go back. So you've posted it, add an action after the Facebook. So go back into you had it. After number 2, add number 3, do delay. Yep. Now delay, whatever, 5 days or action, delay until, delay 4, say 10 days, whatever. 5. I forget
But
what
this
they're.
is delaying the post to Facebook, though.
10 minutes?
No, this is you're delaying the next action is what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
So
You can put a delay.
a delay. Now go hit plus one more. I don't know if there's a way to go back and delete the post. I don't know if you can do that though. That's what I'm wondering.
Let me try that.
Yeah, WordPress.
Let's configure this first. The delay post later, delay
So,
for.
could you say that again, Christina? What am I delaying?
Delaying the delete.
You are delaying the next action. This is one action
I
is
see.
delayed.
Before
Now
the
the
WordPress.
next action is I want to delete the post.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But I'm just not sure if you can do that. No, I can't.
Create a
No.
post is not.
Create and
But
upload, that's it.
There's
Yeah, there's no delete. That would be nice though.
But there's one thing you can do.
Sorry.
If
What would you like to delete your post?
Because if
Your
you're-
content on Google is still gonna be read by Google, and if you're ranked already, that is gonna affect your ranking.
I mean, it's, like I said, it's a very long explanation, but if you have thin content, in the long run, it could possibly penalize you. But you can do quick posts on your social media platforms and get social signals, which would help your website and also bring traffic back to your website. But you don't want thin content floating around on your website. But even though I did not figure this out today, I will figure it out.
You can use the webhooks
For the
on that.
content is hanging around on your social network, when they click on it, if it's deleted,
Well, I would actually link it back to the main site. I don't want to link it.
So,
I saw on some that you said some of them were premium. Is that just if you have a premium membership, or like the one I was looking at was the Facebook leads?
So the premium, it says that you have to upgrade your account. It says premium apps.
See, the multi-step apps is another thing too. You can only get 2 steps on a free one.
Gotcha.
So, when you get into it, there's
Yeah.
20 different zaps and actions all in one.
I've got a lady who was wanting to connect her, I'll just read what she said rather than trying to paraphrase it. You want to generate an automated email to one of our staff members so the customer can be contacted rather than having to check our Facebook business marketing page multiple times a day whenever let's see, Facebook ads, yeah, from a Facebook ad, when someone inquires for more information or signs up to take advantage of the offer.
How are they getting, what's the trigger? Is it a form on their website?
I don't think she's figured that out yet. It's just she wants to have an ad on Facebook,
Mhm.
and I guess somehow they would inquire
They would have to
about
fill out
more
a form.
information.
That would be
Okay.
the trigger.
Gotcha, so it would need to take them to their website.
That's actually a lead ad of Facebook.
Yeah.
And you can connect Facebook
Yeah.
lead ads, and
Yeah.
you can connect it with, you said email?
Mhm.
So we have, you can actually connect with your Gmail and you can send the email.
Okay,
And
but only
we
on the
have
premium one.
these, yeah, we have these templates, send emails from Gmail for new Facebook lead ads leads.
Okay.
That's cool.
So we have these templates, you can use it.
Very cool.
Microsoft
So
has-
what we do is we've actually got it sent to a Slack channel too, so the whole team sees it if something gets filled out, so.
No, sorry, Microsoft has something similar to this too, and maybe that would be an option for you. I can't remember the name of it right
But instead of Zapier, it would just all be within Microsoft?
now. No, it's the same kind of deal where they have different APIs that you can connect to.
So she wants something, if somebody does something on a Facebook ad, she wants the salespeople to be notified
Yeah.
that somebody has clicked and done whatever it is on that Facebook ad. She wants them to get an email or a text message or,
She said email, but I think
Okay.
she just wants to be notified
Notified.
right then, as
Yeah.
opposed to 2
There's-
hours later, she goes and logs into Facebook to see.
Yeah. So you can
Is-
see, you can have it trigger an email, get sent. And there's actually an email, you don't have to have, it'll get sent to Gmail for sure, but there is an email parser in there that'll just email it out just using their system, but you'll have to upgrade.
Okay, and it's straight from the Facebook lead as opposed to them having to, like you had said, go in, click on something
Right.
and fill out a form and.
You're filling out an email template that says, here's the subject, and you're gonna put in so-and-so date, and you're gonna just fill in all the little dynamic details that whatever is in that ad, I don't know what information you are
She
able to
has give a
collect.
bunch of information.
Yeah, it'll walk you through, and that drop down will show you what you were able to collect or pull from it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what she's asking for, but yeah.
I'm
Well, it
talking
seems
about
like if
this
it was
one,
a form, the form would give her, you know.
Microsoft Flow.
Right, yeah.
Are we talking about
I'm
this
sorry.
one? Microsoft
I'm
Flow?
nodding out this thing.
Were you talking about this one? Microsoft
Um,
Flow?
What's the name of it?
Microsoft Flow.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah, that's it, Flow, yeah.
Uh-huh. I haven't tried it,
No,
but
that's
looks
really-
like it's
I think
something
it's
similar.
pretty similar.
That looks similar, yeah.
And they have templates too, I believe, where you can, speed up. the-
What is this again?
It's Microsoft Flow.
Ah, okay.
I don't think it has that lead submission. I think it does on Facebook. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have. It doesn't use that lead ads. It's actually a. I think it's in beta mode maybe, because I just saw that this Facebook API is recently added, and someone that's working for a long time, they won't add Facebook for after some time. They would add Facebook in their earlier stages. So I think this is an earlier stage of Microsoft.
When you were on the Zapier page that had the plans, there was the one for 20, and then there was the one for 50 that had if then else, conditional lock.
Yeah.
Have you used that at all?
Yes.
Does that allow you to package a zap up like you did WordPress to like Facebook, and then refer to that as basically a stored product?
Yeah. That's right. You can do that.
Cool.
But it's not like again, it's not something that you can only. It's not available for loops, but whatever conditional statement like if else, even else if, you can do that. Nested if, you can do that.
What are the premium apps under the $20 $20, you get premium apps, whereas with a free, you don't get premium apps.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, they have their category over here for premium.
It's probably like CRMs and, yeah,
Yeah.
Salesforce for sure, Zoho,
Oh, okay, all right.
PayPal, QuickBooks
Anything
Online.
connected to money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's no choice of going back or choosing an alternative.
Yeah. I do have one for QuickBooks. It just creates a customer.
There was a plugin, Christina spoke about when she talked about this, which was called NextScript. I don't know if you got a chance to play around with it, but it's a WordPress plugin that'll shoot out to other different social medias.
Yeah, we have. There are several plugins that shoot out your posts or pages to several social media networks. So there are several plugins.
What would you say the pros and cons are of that?
The pros
Or
and
versus
cons.
Zapier? That's what I basically am trying to get
I'm not sure.
to.
I'm not
So-
sure at this moment.
I use Missing Letter. So when I have a post that goes, a WordPress post goes live, Missing Letter, a little bit different than this. It pulls in that post. It's the only trigger is it's been posted. But what it does is it lets me make several campaigns over the next year of the same post. So it just keeps regenerating 3rd day, 5th day, 10th day, 30th, 90th, 365, 180 days. And it just, so I did that on this, but it was like the zaps were like this long. I think that's when I showed you guys, and it was like 4 different columns of zaps, and it was crazy. Missing Letter took
What
care
was
of all
that
that.
service?
Missing Letter.
Okay.
And Christina, what are your thoughts versus using NextScript versus Zapier?
I don't know what's that next scripts. I don't know what you're talking about next scripts.
Who's NextScript? That was the
Was it?
plugin you recommended that I would,
I don't remember that.
you don't, then never know.
Well, I know part of the issue when you're posting on these is getting the right image to show on Facebook. Sometimes it doesn't pull in the featured image properly. And so that was a bit of a problem. So you had to use like Yoast. It'll pull in the Yoast image. Like when you're doing the zap, it's got all your fields for the post, and you have to choose Yoast Facebook image to make sure that's the one that shows. And so it just
That's-
gets really complicated.
That's Open Graph data
Yeah.
that all social networks, Facebook and all these, Twitter, etc. uses,
Right.
and that can only be configured from Yoast.
Yeah, and the thing too is it broke on me a few times, and so I think it was being sent out to Twitter and like, buggers, man, something weird API, something got disconnected, so it just got to be too much of a bear. Now I just use Missing Letter and just boom, and it does it automatically to several different places all the time.
Okay.
So if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see the same post. It looks like I'm all active in there, posting all the time, but nah, it's just Missing Letter.
Is there such a thing as a return code from the Zap? So you get to see, did it execute correctly?
Yeah. There's no another zap. There are actually, when you make a zap, you get some options like this, and it has one option of task history. It shows you if your zap has ever ran, and 348, yeah, I think this is the one. So it just ran one time, and it shows over here. So you can see everything in task history.
So with that test post you did a few minutes ago, now is on your Facebook?
Yeah, it is.
The meetup one?
Yeah, 'cause it was the second one. wasn't it?
Yeah, this one. It says 2 minutes ago. This is the one post I created just now.
I assume if you change any of your passwords to WordPress or Facebook, it breaks the link.
No, it doesn't.
No?
No, because it doesn't work with your login. It works with the developer connection with the application. So that window you saw where we have to log in to your Facebook account, it adds its key into your Facebook developer portal, and no matter if you change your password or not, that key would stay there unless you go and intentionally delete it. Alright, I think that's it. That's my LinkedIn QR code. It has to be blue, it doesn't match the theme. But if you want, you can pull out your iPhones and scan the code, and you'll connect with me. Like